Novak Djokovic should not have been on that court. 2 days earlier, he was down 2 sets to love against Lorenzo Musetti in the quarterfinals. Cooked. Done. And then, Musetti's leg gives out. He retires. Djokovic gets a free pass into the semi-finals without winning a completed set in nearly a week. A gift. A lifeline. Most 38-year-olds would just be grateful to still be in the building. But now here's Novak, standing across the net from Jannik Sinner, the 2-time defending champion, the guy who had beaten him 5 straight times, the most dominant hard-court player on the planet. First set. Sinner cruises, 6-3. Djokovic looks old, looks slow. Tennis Twitter is already writing the obituary. And then I saw the final stats flash across my screen, and nothing could have prepared me for what I found. Jannik Sinner won more points. He had 18 breakpoint opportunities to Djokovic's 8. He hit 26 aces. He served 75% first serves in. He won 80% of them. He even won more receiving points. And he lost. Has the GOAT figured out how to win matches he has absolutely no business winning? What on earth actually happened? What you're looking at right now is something that has never happened before in Grand Slam history in the 5th set alone. Sinner had 8 breakpoint opportunities. Djokovic had 1. Take a wild guess who converted. Yep, the old dog still got it. But before we look at the history books, you need to understand the math that makes this win a total anomaly. Tennis analysts use a metric called the dominance ratio. It is the gold standard for measuring match control. You take the percentage of points you win while returning and divide it by the percentage of points your opponent wins while you are serving. It is a simple equation that perfectly captures who is actually bullying who on the court. Since 2012, every single man who has reached a Grand Slam final has followed that rigid law of tennis physics. You have to control the court to win the match. Look at the dominance ratios of every semi. It's above 1. You keep going, the names change, but the math stays the same. I can keep scrolling endlessly all day, but let's speed this up a bit. Alright, you get the point. Hopefully that wasn't too nerdy for you. Finally, we hit the end of the abyss. Over 100 matches, 14 years, 0.82. Novak has broken yet another record. He committed a statistical robbery. A win that simply should not have happened. And yet here we are. Djokovic wins in 5 grueling sets, over 4 hours. Finishing at 1:30 in the morning, the man lost 12 more points than he won, and still walked off the court victorious. Imagine a basketball game where one team hits every clutch 3-pointer, while the other team dominates the paint, wins the rebound battle, and shoots 60% from the field, and still loses by 10. That was this match. Sinner did everything right, and it didn't matter. Before we get into how he actually pulled this off, quick shout out to NordVPN. If you've ever tried to watch a Grand Slam and the coverage is blacked out, or you're abroad and can't access your usual streams, you know how frustrating it is. NordVPN lets you connect to servers in over 60 countries so you can watch what you actually want to watch. It's helping me catch the tennis all year round. It also keeps your data private on dodgy public Wi-Fi, which, let's be honest, is most of it. Use the link in the description for a big discount and some freebies on sign-up. Right, back to Novak. So how does a player win a match they statistically shouldn't? Djokovic wasn't trying to win every point. He was trying to win the right points. At 5-3 in the 5th set, Sinner serving, Djokovic quickly falls behind love 30. And instead of grinding, instead of fighting for every point like you'd expect, Djokovic basically concedes the game. Because at 38 years old with 4 hours of tennis in your legs, energy is currency. And Djokovic did the math in his head. What's the chance I come back from love 30 on Sinner's serve? Tiny. And what does it cost me to try? Everything I need to serve out the next game. And there's more. Watch Djokovic between points when he's gassed. If a fan makes noise, if there's any disruption, he steps back from the line. Resets. Takes an extra 10, 15 seconds. It's within the rules. Crowd interactions aren't penalized, but it's also buying himself precious recovery time. He's a master of this. And honestly, Who can blame him at his age? When the pressure maxes out, Djokovic elevates. Sinner tightens up. And the data backs this up. Sinner is now 0-9 in his career in matches lasting more than 3 hours and 45 minutes. 0 wins, 9 losses. He's a killer, sure. He's won back-to-back Australian Opens. He dismantles opponents, but he's built for quick knockouts, not 12-round wars. Novak? He's gluten-free. Mr. Elastic. The blueprint for longevity. He wants it to go long. The longer the better. It dulls Sinner's shots. And over time, a sense of inevitability comes over the court. But here's what nobody's talking about. Djokovic didn't just scrape by on grit and gamesmanship. He served like a completely different player. We're talking about a guy who's never been known for his serve. Djokovic's game has always been about defense, returning, grinding you down. But in this match, he turned into John Isner. 12 aces, 73% first serves in, and when Sinner got to those break points, 16 of them across the match. Djokovic saved all but 2. That's an 89% save rate under the most intense pressure imaginable. This was as clutch as any serving performance you will ever see. Here's the thing about sports and aging. We all know how this story is supposed to go. The old champion holds on too long, gets embarrassed by the young guys, and finally retires with his legacy slightly tarnished. That's the script. That's always the script. Federer experienced it. Serena experienced it. Every great player eventually gets humbled by time. But Djokovic keeps refusing to read that script. I mean, he probably lucked out a bit with Musetti. And even the reporters still try to diminish his achievements.
When you first, in the early part of your career when you were chasing Roger and Rafa for titles, and now at the back end of your career, you're chasing Jannik and Carlos.
I'm chasing Jannik and Carlos? In which sense? I find it a little bit disrespectful that you kind of miss out on what happened in between, where the times when I started chasing, as you say, Rafa and Roger, and now that I'm chasing Carlos and Jannik, and there's probably about 15-year period in between where I was dominating the Grand Slams, so I think it's...
And you know what? He's right. We've been watching Djokovic win for so long that we've almost stopped appreciating how insane it is. He won his first Australian Open in 2008, and the same guy is still here, still competing at the highest level. What Sinner did in that semi-final should have been enough to beat anyone in the world. The stats don't lie. He played a better match. But tennis isn't played on spreadsheets. It's played in moments. And in the moments that mattered most, Novak Djokovic was simply better. So yeah, Novak Djokovic won a match while losing 12 more points than his opponent. He saved 16 of 18 break points. He recorded the lowest dominance ratio in a slam semi ever. He beat a guy who had owned him 5 straight times. And he did it at 38 years old, at 1:30 in the morning, in front of the world. What do you think? Is this the greatest clutch performance in tennis history? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you like and subscribe. It will help me quit my day job and create more content going forward.